Please don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall!
Oh, my hands are all messy. Alright, don't worry, I got a napkin. So today I'm going to show you a little bit about how to manage your twist. A very common question I get and I see among new spinners is the question of how much twist is too much twist. So today I'm going to show you. Generally speaking, it's pretty easy to tell when there's not enough twist because then your yarn just falls apart and your spindle falls to the floor, or your yarn shoots through your spinning wheel and gets all tangled up and everything else. So it's pretty easy to figure that out. It's easy to grasp that. But when it comes to too much twist, that's when it gets a little more difficult because there's usually some wiggle room before it actually snaps, and that's the point when you definitely have too much twist. It's like maximum twist is when it breaks. So I've got this teeny little string here, and I'm going to test out how much twist is in it by giving it a little bit of slack. So I've got one strand going right there. That's how I know there's a really good amount of twist. Pretty even, one apart. And this is how I gauge. Other people might have different methods, but this is the rule of thumb that I go by. Now, too much, I don't want to break it because that would kind of ruin the demonstration, but I do want to show you how much is too much, so I can feel it tightening. I can also see it. After a while, you'll learn to see if it's too tight, but that just takes practice. Just give it a little slack. So I've got it bunching up quite a bit. I've got a couple of different strings showing. That's a little too much. And I can see that center piece. Well, it's not really center anymore, but the first piece that started twirling around itself is pretty tight. So to fix that, I'm going to draft out some more until I can feel it start to even out. Feels pretty good. Give it a little tiny tug, not too much because you will break it if you tug it too much, but a little bit to make sure that it's even out and it's not too loose, because if I feel it start to slip, that means I don't have enough twist in there. So let's give it a shot. Not bad. That little piece, that's just because it's so much, and there might be a little bit too much twist in that one piece there. And then after a while you'll get more just because it's a very long strand. But you can see that there aren't like 4 or 5 building up like the last one. And that's it. Don't worry too much about there being too much twist when you're first starting to spin. It's just another headache. It's another thing to worry about. You already got enough going on while you're first trying to spin. Eventually, you're just going to feel it. It comes with practice. What I go by is this hand. I can feel the tension building up in this hand as the twist meets that triangle. And that's how I know that there's either too much twist or not enough twist. I can also feel it slipping if there's not enough twist. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to show you on the wheel. How's that? Oh, you could see the... Hey, this is my Ashford Kiwi 2. I highly recommend this for new spinners. It's very straightforward. You can get a lot of really nice types of yarn out of this. His name is Wolfgang. This is a very nice merino and bamboo blend that I have been enjoying very much. Bring it in. I'm going to give myself some working room. I'm gonna actually do a video on how a spinning wheel works. So let's say you're spinning, and again, I know I spin really weird, not everybody spins like this. I do a lot of things that people say you shouldn't do, but that's because I see rules and I give you a middle finger. So let's say you're spinning. I keep yelling at you, sorry. Let's say you're spinning. Trying to Bob Ross it. And you want to test the tension. So I'll give myself a little more room. A little easier to see. This is generally how tight I make. I'm planning on plying this later, so that's why it's so skinny. So I'm gonna show you, this is how, I'm about to show you my twist. That's good to me. That is a very good amount of twist. That's how I like it. It's also a way I can check and see what the ply is gonna look like. I like that. I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna keep going. You can periodically test to see not only what your ply will look like, but if you have enough twist. Now, if you don't want to ply it, you don't want to put quite as much twist in there. I think I've said this on my beginner's video, that the thinner the yarn is, the more you twist it. And if it's thicker, you won't need as much twist. So let's pretend for a second that I was not going to ply this, that I was just going to have this be a single. Let's see if I can manage that after going for so long. I would give it a little bit more weight if I was going to do single, and that feels pretty good to me for a single. So we'll test it out. So for a single, yeah, that's a pretty good amount of twist. I've only got one little dingle dangle there. There's a little bit more twist in this section because it's a little smaller and that's just where it wants to accumulate. That's okay, I'm gonna leave it. Don't care. You might see that little extra twisted piece there when you're finished with your skein and you've soaked it and everything, but you won't really see that little tiny section in the garment, whatever you decide to make out of it. And if you do, who cares? The thing you want to worry about with twist and having too much of it, of course having too little of it, it means it's going to break. But having too much of it, it's going to make your, whatever you're making from it, look a little bit crooked because it wants to lean. So that's the main worry. And then of course, the more twist that's in there, if there's too much, it's going to weaken the yarn and it'll snap. Just like if you have not enough twist, that'll break. If you have too much, that'll also break. That's why twist is important, but it's not so important, so don't worry too much about it. Just focus on a little bit at a time. Whatever your brain can handle in the moment, just worry about that. And then after some time of consistent practice, you'll just start to feel it and it's all going to come together. You won't even have to worry about it. So when I'm spinning, I'm feeling everything. This is my main hand. This is really just holding it and giving it a good tug now and then. But my left hand is doing quality control, it's doing drafting, it's doing all kind of stuff. It's making corrections. And then the right hand pulls sometimes a little bit to help draft it out, but mainly it's just to manage the sections. I guess it does a little bit of quality control too, but not nearly as much. Okay, well I could do this pretty much all day, so I'm gonna stop. After enough practice, like I said, you'll start to really feel it. I know that's kind of a vague explanation of how to manage something. It's all about feeling, but it's the truth. You can feel it in your fingertips. You can feel the tension. It's like driving a car. It's all muscle. Or riding a bike, even though I've completely forgotten how to ride a bike. So that's it for today. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments down below. You can also contact me via any one of my other social media outlets, like Facebook, Instagram. What else? Etsy. I have my Etsy page still. Here, you can use the messaging system through YouTube, even though sometimes I don't see it. Facebook, that's the best way to go. Another thing, I know in my previous spinning videos I mentioned that I'd be putting together packets, which I did for a little bit, but I haven't been doing them lately because I wanted to sort of spruce them up a little bit. It wasn't really enough. I was just sort of putting things together and I wasn't really making anything. So I wanted to make them a little bit fancier. I've shelved that idea for a little while, but I do have the drop spindles. And if you contact me and you want any special things attached to those, we can always work something out. So if it's really important for you to have the fiber, just let me know. I've got a ton of it here, and like I said, we'll work something out. If I have any fiber that I'm willing to sell at the time, then I'd be happy to help you out. However, there are hundreds of people out there who do sell beautiful fiber, not just raw locks or undyed fibers, but they also have wonderful dyed fibers. I often purchase dyed roving from my fellow fiber artists. So that's that. If you like this video, that's cool. You can leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know how long it's been since you had a vanilla wafer. I love you guys. Bye.